level flat. Rhythm.
I'm gonna make it last. I give it to you right there whenever you want. So come on, girl, let me take you to another world. You the one that I love, there ain't no other girl.
Cry for you. This is what I can't deny. Die for you, cry for you. Please don't say goodbye. Die for you, cry for you. This is what I can't deny. Die for you, cry for you. Please don't say goodbye.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Never say goodbye, I'ma die with you. I hate it when you sigh, cause I cry with you. See, I never say goodbye, I'ma die with you. I hate it when you sigh, cause I cry with you.
Say it. CCP Dig 4.
Woo!
We're going to talk about a few big topics actually. We're going to start with the return of 2D side-scrolling games. Now, lately, I know you mentioned a few games, and I feel like you have you mentioned a couple, didn't you? You mentioned a couple of 2D games that you've been playing lately, and now that the industry is kind of gauged itself on all these amazing retro type of games, 2D games are coming back. Shooters, side scrollers, action beat 'em ups, you name it. They're really now the talk of the town, and these are games that we grew up on.
Mm-hmm.
So which is so freaking cool.
Yeah,
It,
it's amazing.
and
Brings back great memories.
oh man, let me I mean, just going to the arcade, playing games like Golden Axe, playing games like Altered Beast, playing games like games that came home, like Contra, Double Dragon. I mean, I think the list goes on and on. So, I mean, I in the recent years, I mean, I just a couple of notes that I've actually been kind of going through. They said in the recent years, the resurgence of 2D side-scrolling games have captivated both old-school gamers and newcomers alike. So, like a blend of nostalgia with innovative mechanics, fresh break from complexity of modern 3D experiences. Because right now, people have been playing 3D up the wazoo, And I think, adventure games, don't get me wrong, adventure games are fantastic. 30-hour games, 120-hour games. Everyone loves those games. But some like those pick up and play kind of games, Games that kind of, that quick, just, button mashing, don't, just trying to get a high score kind of games, And this is actually starting to become a thing now. And I can't talk about it. I can't gush about it enough. But we're talking about the games like Contra Galuga. There's Operation Galuga.
Operation Galuga.
Yeah, great. Let me
Fantastic game.
back to the roots. Back to the roots of actual fun, nostalgic, simple gameplay. Hard games, by the way, because listen, yeah, we're gonna talk about the new Ninja Gaiden that's coming out at the end of this towards the summer. I think it's summertime, right? Summer. Yeah. Yeah, Ragebound. That's coming out.
You will see me for a few days, guys. I didn't disappear for a little while. You know that, right? That's gonna happen.
just gauging back to games like that, which brings to the point games like Hollow Knight, Cuphead, Ori, Will of the Wisps, Dead Cells. These are all 2D simple. No, okay, sorry, strike that. It can't be simple. They're not simple. They're hard. They're hard as heck. But they are games that are 2D, right? Not 3D. None of those fancy bells and whistles. But these games actually scored very, very high, especially when it comes to reviews. For instance, you have Hollow Knight, which we're waiting for Silksong. Silksong actually showed up in Nintendo's, I believe it was Nintendo's Direct. Nintendo Direct. They showed that Silksong, yeah, Silksong is coming back. People have been talking about Silksong for how long? 10 years? No.
Oh God.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah.
And it's been in limbo. And then once again, they showed it again. They showed it, and I believe they also showed it in an Xbox presentation too. So they showed it twice in the past 5 to 6 years, and they finally mentioned it again, but there has been no word on when exactly the game is supposed to be coming out. They said nothing, and people are aching for it. But games like Hollow Knight, average review score 9 out of 10. That's average. Right now I think our meta is actually hanging at a 93. Cuphead, another fantastic game, 8.8 out of 10. And I think,
More than that, to be honest with you.
oh well, yeah, it should be. It should be. It should be. even its DLC was actually very good.
Oh yeah.
That game right there. I mean, I think it's hovering above like a 86 or 87. Let me see. Ori and Will of the Wisps. That's holding a 9.2 out of 10.
Beautiful game.
Hard,
Yeah.
very very hard game, but so good. The music, the emotional attachment to the characters, great. 9.2 out of 10. Dead Cells. Right now, that's actually hanging around an 8.5 out of 10, which is like an 85 or above right now. Right. Also, so right now, judging by what I've been seeing, like the player engagement for these retro games are extremely high. Recently, you already know that the retro games, yeah, retro classics that came out recently. Yeah, on the Xbox just came out. Dude, the engagement is extremely high on that game, on that service, extremely high. There are veterans that play these games when Activision, the Intellivision came out, Amiga, all these games right there, MS DOS. These games they played when they were younger, and they are now coming back and playing these games. There are challenges now. I mean, listen, the Adventures of Willie Beamish. Oh my gosh, I played that game. Oh wow, oh, I think it was whoa. I was like 9. I was like 9, 10. I think it was yeah. It was. I think it came out in like the late. It came out. Listen, and even the Sega CD, when the Sega CD came out, that was in 92, 93,
Yeah, 92 or
93.
Yeah.
That they made Adventures of Willie Beamish. It came out for the Sega CD, and you could be able to play that on the retro classics.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then of course they have Zork. Zork. They have Zork, dude. They have Zork. MS DOS. MS DOS. Zork. You can play that on. God. They had me.
That's what I missed.
They had me at hello. Take my money, even though it's free.
Oh yeah. I was looking at the list. Yeah, I was looking at the list of games, and I was like, "Holy crap!"
Pitfall.
I haven't touched these games like in decades.
Pitfall.
So it makes me want to go back and go play those games.
Goodness.
You know?
I mean,
Nuts.
yeah. What? Oh man, this is. Oh well, I mean, most of these games, even though I didn't really have a PC at that time, my friends did, and I went over their house and they booted it up. Listen, that's where I first played Wolfenstein. I played Wolfenstein 3D on their computer. That they introduced me to those games. Doom, another great game. I played on the PC, but I digress.
Yeah, but with Doom though, I first played Doom when it was on the Super NES, and then later on, my friends told me, "Oh no, you don't. The Super Nintendo's nothing. Play the PC." And then when I played the PC, I was like, "Oh yeah."
You were blown away. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Super Nintendo even handled that game. That was pretty CPU heavy. Yeah.
It handled it pretty well too.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Blows it away though, hands down.
Hmm. But getting back to the topic, I mean, they have like these social experiences of 2D side-scrolling games to online gaming. There's several key differences emerge. 2D side-scrollers also emphasize solo play or local co-op, which is actually very, very true. People like that kind of experience playing these side-scrolling games that are fun. Now, getting into a list of a lot of games that are starting to come back, especially retro games, remakes, remasters. We can actually talk about a few. that kind of popped up. I mean, we already experienced Double Dragon Gaiden. That's that's a side scrolling beat 'em up. That's based off the Double Dragon series. Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
Yes, fantastic games. What else? We have the Clock Tower. They actually remade that game. It's a side-scrolling game, which was absolutely amazing, but it's retro, and they brought that game back. Terminator 2. They're actually bringing a side-scrolling. Um, this is wild. I actually saw that this game right there was like a love letter to the Terminator series, and they actually got the permissions from like Universal Studios to actually bring.
Was it Universal Studio?
No, I don't think it was Universal. I'm sorry, not Universal. I think it was Hold on. I think it was Fox. I think it was Fox Interactive. Hold on. Let me see.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, but Terminator 2D does look fantastic. That's like the Terminator 2 game we should have gotten when we were young. Oh yeah. Not that crap on the Super NES and the Genesis version. Those were terrible.
yeah, here we go. The Terminator 2 game that's coming out for the Xbox Series consoles, PS5, and the Switch. And the Switch.
It's fantastic. I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, it's called Terminator. It's called Terminator 2D. No Fate.
Terminator 2D.
Is it co-op? Is it co-op? That's what I want to know.
Oh, actually, no. I think it's a one-player experience. Nah, yeah, it's a one-player experience.
There's gotta be something. You gotta be able to make that co-op.
Well, I mean, all those events are like based off of the film, though, so it's definitely like one player. So I don't see it like being like a co-op unless they add something to later on, probably like a DLC.
Well,
But
it's
it's
John
gonna-
Connor like Tails in Sonic 2. Have John Connor play like Tails.
John Connor. Listen. I mean, what is Arnold gonna go on there and be like Sonic? I got to go fast. Got to go fast. Got to go fast. Yeah. Nah, I don't think that's gonna work. He's too bulky. Can you imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger in a blue suit and everything, running around and everything with his with those little spinies on his it's like with the Michael Bay effects.
I do want to mention that this game, when I first saw the trailer to Terminator 2D, it reminded me of the Terminator on the Sega CD. That game was fantastic.
Oh yes, and Tommy Tallarico did the soundtrack to that game.
Yeah.
Yes.
The soundtrack was amazing to that. Oh my goodness.
Speaking of soundtracks,
Play that game again.
speaking of soundtracks, sorry to mention. I mean, sorry, but
Hold on.
go ahead.
Say, Tony?
Go ahead, Doug.
Back up a sec. I'm looking at the Terminator 2D. There's different characters you can choose. I'm thinking you can play as John Connor, the one from the future.
Yeah, well, it's gonna follow the story.
There's gotta
It's
be
gonna
a
follow the
co-op
movie.
option. You know there's gotta be.
I don't know how they're gonna do it because it's gonna follow to the movie, like I said. So
No. Listen, remember all those movie adaptation games we had as a kid, man? They just throw in levels just so people can play with each other. They can do that.
Yeah, I don't know
I don't know,
because
we'll see.
Well, if you want a movie after it, sure.
No, regardless, I'm gonna
But you
play
want
anyway.
more people to play. I
Do it on co-op.
A co-op just for fun.
you know what? That'd be cool DLC and everything. Have like special two player missions. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I missed that, but yeah, that's a good point. It's a very good point. It's DLC. Studio Bitmap Bureau. That's the group that actually created the Xeno Crisis games, the top down 2D twin stick shooter that came out recently. It was a retro game, and I believe it was I think it was homebrewed also for the Game Boy Advance, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a love letter. It's a love letter to the movie because they're literally gonna make it completely accurate to the movie from the very beginning.
Yeah.
But the John Connor mission is actually going to be kind of like a prelude. So it's going to be almost what is it? In tune with the Terminator 2 game, Terminator 2 game that came out for the Sega CD. So it's going to be similar to that one.
Wait, you mean like the
Like the thing, remember the first level? Remember the first level and everything where you actually going through the
yeah, but you play as Kyle Reese in the Terminator.
Kyle Reese. Oh, that's right, Kyle Reese. I'm sorry. Yeah, Kyle Reese. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Like Kyle Reese. But
Right.
I remember there was a Terminator 2 game that was on Super NES and Genesis where they were pretty horrible games. But it looks like that this game is supposed to be the game that we should have gotten while we were back in middle school.
Yeah.
So,
But the cool thing is that you get to play as Sarah Connor, which you never got an opportunity to play as at all in any of those games.
Exactly.
So
And plus the level that you play as John Connor, and when I saw how the way it plays, it reminds me so much of Contra. You watch that trailer, and you're gonna see like here's some parts that look so similar to it.
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
The first stage of Contra 3D Alien War.
let's see if I can bring that up. But that's very very interesting. Let me see if I can actually bring
And then
that up.
there's gonna be some stealth missions where you're playing as Sarah, you're trying to escape the what's it called, the asylum that she was staying at. Yeah, because you saw like she gets behind the guard and you whack them with a nightstick. If you watch that trailer.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Holy cow! You know what? That's not a bad idea, to be honest with you. You know, we're getting back to because right now we're actually getting really deep into the concepts. Um, we we've seen a major resurgence of all these wonderful games, and people are actually now embracing these games like all completely. Like there's a lot of games that the people are actually talking about. They said they wish they can actually make a remake. Like they're playing these nostalgic games, these games that we played, and they're actually saying we want a sequel like Street Race 4, which was what, how many years? 10, 15 years in the making. They came out for the Sega Genesis. We're talking about Street Race 3 was like the last one. And that came out in 1994, right? And so you're talking about literally a 2 decade, almost 3 decades, two decades, 20 years, 20 plus years, 20 plus years for Street Race 4 to actually finally see the light of day. And you know what? I'm so glad. I'm so glad they decided to bring the game out. Yuzo Koshiro, I believe I forgot who. There was several different artists who and music creators for Castlevania series and a few other great games. They decided to do a collaboration and create the soundtracks to these games because they actually got inspiration. They got inspiration from doing this from Yuzo Koshiro and the amazing MIDI tunes that he created. Can you? Yeah. That's wild, And speaking of which, I know you talk about like fighting games, but shoot, I'm into shmups, right? There's a lot of shmups coming out. Yuzo Koshiro is actually bringing out a shoot 'em up that's coming up, and
yes, I heard about that.
Yes, and that game is what I'm looking forward to right now. And I feel like because Gradius is also getting a compilation, and they're finally bringing Salamander 2 to console, which never came out to console for at all. They never.
New game,
Salamander 3. Yeah, they're finally bringing the sequel. They're bringing the sequel out.
Wow.
Which is crazy. It's nuts, and I'm here for it. So, guys, tell me some games that you've been playing or been seeing recently that that you want to share with the wonderful players out there that maybe they don't even know about. Why don't you I'll give a couple of examples.
I got a couple.
All right, go for it.
Okay. Tony, go. Yeah, you go first, Tony.
Yeah, man. There's 2D games that are inspired by retro games, and but they play like games connected. It's awesome. Ones that I was playing a lot of. You ever hear of Shank and Shank 2?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot about those games. Oh, yeah.
Changing those words. And Shank 2 was like co-op, man. It was so much fun. It was like they played like your standard side scroller like console, right?
Mm-hmm.
That combo was like Devil May Cry and different weapons.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I remember
Different guns, different grenades to throw or missiles, whatever. It had everything. And the animation, it looked like a live action cartoon. Live action cartoon. It looked like a cartoon.
Right.
That's wild, man.
Mark of the Ninja was also a 2D side scroller, right?
Oh, yes, that's right. Mark of the Ninja.
Incorporated using darkness and everything and hiding and everything. All the stealth stuff you would find like Tenchu or even Assassin's Creed.
Oh
But
gosh,
another game.
I actually forgot. I actually forgot about that game. I actually played that game and finished it, and it was wow.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I mean, it wasn't. I think it was based. Wasn't it based off of a game that came out for the not the NES? Was it the NES? I think it came. I think it came out for the NES. Mark of the Ninja did come out for the NES. I think it was the same name.
No,
At
I
least.
think it came. Was that the same game from Konami?
Let me find out. Hold on.
Also, I'm strike that because I'm thinking of Ninja 5.0 that came out on the Game Boy Advance and they released it. They recently re-released it on the Switch and PlayStation 4 and 5. I'm thinking of Ninja 5.0.
Well, that's another great game, by the way. That's and also Shadow of the Ninja, which actually came out for the NES a long time ago. They actually remastered that too, which is great, and they actually added new mechanics in that game. Still has the same, still had the same challenge in the game as well. So, let's see, Mark of the Ninja. Oh yeah, it came out for the yeah, it did come out for the. It came out for let me see. Hold on a second. Let me see. I think it popped up. Mark of the Ninja. Uh, okay, okay. No, I was mistaken. No, it was actually called something else. But there.
But it draws inspiration from a lot of other games.
Right.
Well, yeah.
All very similar.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a lot of great games that really brings back the nostalgia, which is pretty wild. But the game that I was talking about was called Eartheon. Eartheon by Yuzo Koshiro. They finally he's here. Yes, he created an amazing 2D experience with his awesome soundtracks. By the way, he's actually going to be bringing that game, to the and it's actually using the same engine as a Mega Drive, but they're bringing it to modern consoles. So I'm looking forward to that. I am all for it. I love shmups. I always have. Games like things like R-Type. R-Type actually came out with R-Type. R-Type Delta came out, and then R-Type Delta 2. That came out. Gosh, man. The list goes on and on. I think Gradius 5 only came out for the PlayStation 2. Was it 2? Yeah, it came out for the PlayStation 2. The Gradius 5. Gradius 5 came out only for the PlayStation 2. Yes, it was PlayStation 2. Yep, that was right. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, I thought I lost you for a second. You guys were like completely silent.
No, we're still here.
Cool.
Tech check, but we're good to go.
Excellent.
We're good.
All right, so hey, players out there, let me know what do you think? What kind of retro games? What kind of retro games that are you playing recently, or that you actually are interested in playing? Why don't you go ahead and type it up in the chat? Let me know. Let us know. Engage a little bit. Also, if you like anything that we're talking about right now, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share the experience and everything. Come on, we're trying to hit that 100 subscribers. Let's go. So, what do we got?
Well, one thing we have is that we call like a retro game and nostalgia.
Right. So we're gonna get into that one in the next one, but we're gonna hit that commercial break. So guys, why don't you go ahead and interact with us, share with us, go on the social webs and everything, share the content, and we are going to be right back in our first intermission break.
I hope you slept well, because now you die. Prepare to meet Iron Skillet.
Oh yeah, Tekken 4 is here. Punish your enemies with new moves, interactive environments, and new fighters. It's a legend so deep, no one just plays it. They live it. Tekken 4, rated T for teen.
It's an extremely sensitive covert operation. You'll be one man against an entire squad of high-tech special ops. If you want to survive, you gotta have brains. You have to be in peak physical condition. The fate of the free world is in your hands, soldier. Failure is not an option.
Sir, aren't these tests kind of easy?
Suicide mission.
Metal Gear Solid.
All right, we are back. I'm actually just making sure that we're in good shape here.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Please engage in the comments. I want to know what games you're playing right now, what retro ones you're interested in, man. I'm always looking for something.
Likewise, I want to hear from you guys. Let us know.
All right, let's see. Just making sure that we are good with the sound because for some odd reason, you guys are coming in low. Why? I have no idea.
That just means they need to speak up a little. We're compensating on get a mic or something.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably
We'll
it.
have to
Yeah.
we'll have to get one. Sure.
But that's okay. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, just letting you know, things always happen. But since we're doing it live, that's what usually happens. But we're gonna go into our next topic, and as in the background, I'm actually going to do a couple fixes here and there. But let's move on to the retro games and nostalgia. Now, yeah, this is gonna be a big topic though because
Oh yeah.
nostalgia is a hell of a drug, and it is.
One of the best ones.
Yeah, well, it is. Yeah, of course, it's one of the best drugs in the world, because the memories. Everyone has those memories, like the smells, the games that you play, the music that you listen to, the situations you actually been in, maybe even the girlfriend that you actually fell in love with, that they actually broke your heart. All these things actually happen through nostalgia. So when it comes to games, we've been through the arcade rungs, in our yesteryear. I remember going to Nathan's a long, long time ago. Johnny, in Yonkers, we missed that place. That place is gone. The arcades are gone. The arcades we used to go to are gone. Chinatown Fair, that's gone. Um, it's frustrating. And we were like, oh, the arcade experience, it's gone. But
Arcade place over in the Palisades Mall.
well,
If you remember.
that is true. That is true. That's gone too.
Yeah.
And people hear about Dave and Buster's and Chuck E. Cheese's, but those are not really. No, that's not the arcades that we grew up in. We grew up in not even close. The loud arcade sounds, the sounds of quarters going down the slots. People yelling and having a good time, laughing. those are the experiences that we actually love.
Huge.
Right.
Yeah. But well, I remember when I walked into the arcade though, you hear that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme music, and you want to know where it is because you know they have that arcade, so you want to go directly to it.
Yep.
You know.
Same way as WrestleMania arcade. As soon as I heard that WWF music back there,
Yeah.
I jumped straight to that machine.
Oh my gosh, yes, yes. What was it? WrestleFest? It was WrestleFest, right?
NBA Jam and NFL Blitz for wrestling. It was crazy.
I think it was was it I think the first time that I actually, because I played Super what's it called, WWF Superstars was like the first game I played. You know, where I get to play as Ted DiBiase, and you get to play as I saw Jim Duggan, and
Hold on, I want to correct you there. Ted DiBiase and Andre the Giant, they weren't playable. They were the bosses.
oh, they were the bosses. That's right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you correct me. There, you're right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And here's a fun fact. If you go outside the ring on the right side, you'll see Billy Lee from Double Dragon getting up from his chair and just carrying on to the mat.
Oh, now I got freaking down. I boot up my main. I got to boot up my main game and play that game now.
That's the reason why Billy Lee's in the audience.
I didn't even realize that. Holy cow! Now I gotta go back into it. Oh snap!
He's on the right side, on the side of the he's on the side of the
Tony, did you call him a mark?
Oh,
Look at Billy being a mark.
I had no idea. You know what? You learn something new every day.
Listen, Billy Lee has spent so much of his life martial arts and training and being the crap out of the Shadow Warriors, okay? He deserves to enjoy some wrestling action.
Well, you know what? If they just took the Road Blaster's car and went to Kid Marion, they would have had more time to watch wrestling.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that red car that was actually inside the garage.
They can't get out of the car. They can't drive it. Who knows?
Oh,
It was in the shop.
yeah, right.
I know.
Or maybe, or maybe they didn't have the money for it. I don't know. You know.
Who knows?
The transmission went out.
Probably. Holy cow! But let's go. Let's get into it. Like retro gaming.
Let's go.
Some of these cool things like retro gaming is driven by players' nostalgia. Now, like especially from the early games like Simplicity and the Challenge. These are things that people actually really enjoy, and I feel like when it comes to the classic consoles like NES, Super NES, Sega Genesis, even the TurboGrafx 16. You know, a lot of games have been revived and through the miniature versions of these particular games. And they're bringing them back. So retro-inspired games are gaining popularity now. Here's a couple examples. I already mentioned Streets of Rage 4. Streets of Rage 4. Streets of Rage 4 was amazing for the fact that they decided to, for free, by the way, add the classic Streets of Rage 1, Streets of Rage 2, the Game Gear versions of the soundtracks. They added that as a bonus. They added the sprite versions of Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3 in the games, which is amazing. Yeah, so they added those in there, and you can unlock bosses, which is another thing. I mean, they really poured it on in this game, and you know what? It was a love letter to all the Streets of Rage fans. You know, Sonic. Oh, we appreciate it. I appreciate the hell out of that. I am so happy that Emu actually decided to say, "Hey, let's do it." So, you know what? Salute to all you guys. I love you.
Also, what was so awesome at that time, salute to them. What was so awesome is that they released that game during the pandemic, and including myself and a lot of people, that game helped a lot of people get through the pandemic.
Oh God.
Oh yes, they did.
You know?
Yes, they did.
Exactly. So for me too, man, I had such a blast playing that game. Especially everybody was stuck in their homes, but you know what? We had this game right in our home. This great beat 'em up. This great nostalgia.
Wow.
The only thing that kept me sane was during the pandemic.
Of course.
Look, when we were all locked down, I didn't see my wife for like a month. We weren't
Mm.
And
Well, your boyfriend,
yeah,
girlfriend.
he's the only thing that got me through that time when I was busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that's
Yeah.
the point now.
It was fantastic. Yeah.
So yeah, but here's a cool thing. Here's some other good ones. Some honorable mentions. Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania, which is actually a love letter to the Sonic games. Not necessarily not necessarily like a sequel in a sense, but it's more like a love letter to Sonic. So they actually made and it had the same difficulty, the same speed, just everything 2D about Sonic was all in that game.
When I first saw that game, I thought it was a Sonic game I missed, not a new release.
Sonic Mania?
Oh, really?
Or was it Sonic Generations? Which one? Which one was that?
No, Sonic Mania.
Oh, Sonic Mania. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That came out recently. I thought it was came out after Sonic 3, and I missed it.
Oh.
Oh, no.
No.
That came out much later. What I did like about Sonic Mania, they also added Sonic Plus, and they added 2 more characters to it.
No, that's right. Yeah, that's right. What was it? Oh goodness gracious, what were the characters' names?
2017 Sonic Mania.
Yeah.
But it was done so well, I thought it was one of the old games.
It's a fantastic game.
Yeah, I thought it was one of the old ones.
I think it was. Let me see. I'm trying to remember the characters' names.
Yeah, there was 2 more characters.
2 more characters.
I can't believe I forgot the names.
Yeah.
Big the Cat, was it? You know, Big the Cat?
No, Big the Cat wasn't in there though. But that's. Just people were surprised that Big didn't really get any. Big didn't really get any. Yeah, he didn't really get any clout at all. You know that which is no. I mean, he was actually.
He was in Sonic Heroes.
Sonic Heroes. That's right. He was in Sonic Heroes.
Amy and Creed. Yeah, he was with Amy in that game.
Oh, Mighty and Ray. Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel. Those were the extra characters in the game.
Yeah.
So Ray had the flight mechanics to add it in the game, and I believe Mighty had he's actually immune to spikes in ball form. So that means he can't as long as he's in ball form he will not be able to get killed by spikes. So that's a special ability.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I downloaded the DLC. Did I finish it? I don't know if I did.
I saw my physical copy of the game.
Yeah, I might have to get back into that game just for the hell of it. Cause I love Sonic. I love Sonic. I grew up on Sonic, and I will forever be because Sonic Genesis. I mean, even though I played Sega Genesis when it first came out, the first game that came out for the Sega Genesis was Altered Beast. Altered Beast was a pack game, and I played that in the arcade. And of course, that was my selling point because I wanted to get the arcade experience home. Even though it wasn't necessarily completely arcade perfect, I didn't care because it was close. It was damn close.
Really close.
It was damn close. And then Golden Axe, another one.
Revenge of Shinobi that came out a couple months later.
Revenge of Shinobi, yeah. Come on, man. So, and then we got to Super Mario Maker. They actually brought back the all the assets from all the Mario games, 2D Mario games. They brought into you can create your own levels, and you can set up challenges. So you can go on and just build up your own like speed challenges and all that stuff. And I've seen some wild ones online, and I'm like, whoa.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
You know, some really creative ones. Really creative. These.
There's some sickos out there. Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to pass through this.
They are mean. They are mean. Mean. Oh my gosh. I was like, are you kidding me? And then I see people actually doing it and finishing it. I'm like, where did they find the time? Exactly.
Oh yeah.
And I thought Ninja Gaiden was hard. Jeez Louise, man. I don't understand that, man. Oh, rough stuff, man. But yeah. Shovel Knight was another game. I think we mentioned that Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight is a fantastic game. I don't think we never mentioned that, did we? Shovel Knight.
First time we mentioned it.
Yeah, Shovel Knight was one of those games that when it first came out was a love letter to simple 2D action, action adventure with a guy with a shovel. And you actually jump up and you use your shovel, downward strikes to actually, to stomp on certain enemies and unlock certain blocks and areas and second special areas.
Is it me, or do I see a lot of inspiration from Mega Man with that game?
Yeah, actually, matter of fact,
A lot of inspiration. I see it.
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, I would say that's one of the it's one of the things that really pushed like Shovel Knight to actually even be created.
Oh wow.
Now getting back into some other games, I actually kind of throw some other notes in there. Bubsy's coming back.
I remember Bubsy.
Yeah.
Okay, but listen, okay, maybe I'm not the only one, but isn't it frustrating when you're actually speeding up, the screen is not catching up, and you end up falling in the water, or something like that, or there's a little fuzzy that kind of just pops up out of nowhere, and you're like, bro, seriously? There's a lot of freaking insta kills in that game, and it gets frustrating. So you always have to slow down, so you can't use speed at all. And even the glide doesn't help. There's no invincibility. Your invincibility window is very, very slim. You let go of the glide, and you do it at the wrong time. That's it. You're dead. I like the animations though. They have a lot of animations for your deaths, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, the animations are pretty nice.
Yeah, Croc, Into the Garbos. That's coming back. That came out for the Sega Saturn. They came out for the PlayStation and the Sega Saturn. Yeah. PS1. Yeah.
It was on the Saturn.
Yeah. So that's coming back, and they're remastering it. To the modern age. Let me tell you something. Nostalgic games are coming back. I think I mentioned it one time about Blizzard, the Blizzard collection. Rock and Roll Racing, the Lost Vikings, Lost Vikings 2. What else is on there? What's it called? Blackthorn. That right there is like a love letter to games that we played back, like Flashback. And let's go even further. Let's go even further. Out of This World.
Oh, I remember Out of This World.
Or it was called Another World. Yeah, but that came out for like the PC. No, it wasn't even PC at the time. It was like was it MS DOS? No, it wasn't MS DOS. It was actually I know it was on a computer. I think it was MS DOS. No, it wasn't. No. It was PC, yeah.
Was that game on 3DO as well, or no?
Yes, it was. It was called Out of This World on 3DO. Yeah.
I had a feeling that game was on 3DO because I remember listening to my GamePro magazine, and I remember seeing it was on either PC or 3DO Panasonic.
Yep.
So.
And Flashback, when it came out for the Sega Genesis, it came out for the Sega Genesis first, by the way.
Then it came out on Sega CD.
And then it came out for Sega CD, and they actually had voiceover in the game.
Yeah.
It wasn't really the same. I think the mystery was better on when it was actually on Genesis though, because Genesis really I think it got high scores too. Let me look at the view scores on that game were nuts. I believe in EGM they actually gave it 9s and 10s. I think no, they gave it 9s. It was 9s. I think 1.8. Hold on.
People still love it. Speaking of that, because on Steam it's 9 out of 10.
There you go. See?
Oh, there you go.
People still love it. That fits this episode perfectly, man. That's a great
Absolutely.
Because that's what I mean. I mean, nostalgia is huge when it comes to these games. And you see and players, you see in the background, you see the Ninja Turtles game, the Shredder's Revenge. That right there took inspiration from Turtles in Time, which came out for the Super NES. you know,
I think that's
and also the arcade. Yeah.
Of course.
So these things. I mean, and of course, we have other games that kind of follow suit as well. Like we got what is it? The Rita's Revenge. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Rita's Revenge.
Yeah, Power Rangers Wheels of Revenge.
Yeah, which is a four player simultaneous game, or was it 5 player? I think it was four. It was 4 player, right?
I think no, I think it's believed it's like 5 players.
It was a 5 player, right? 5 player simultaneous game.
5 players, 6. Yeah.
Yeah, and then let's go even deeper, and everyone remembers Xbox Live Arcade. Xbox Live Arcade, they brought back some nostalgic games as well. The Simpsons Arcade, that was actually playable at home finally. Yeah, that is true. You can't even get it anymore. Yeah, I know. Because thanks Fox Interactive. Then you have the Xbox X-Men.
X-Men Arcade.
X-Men Arcade
X-Men Arcade no longer
was
there.
no longer.
Luckily, I got it immediately when it first came out.
Yeah. See, but see, that's the frustrating thing. You have this plethora of amazing games that people actually would want to play again, and they've been hearing about it again because Arcade went up. They actually decided to resurrect these arcade machines, which for some odd reason they completely just lost their mind and decided to stick with their licenses they already have and just remaster the arcade cabinets for some odd. I don't know why they're doing it. It doesn't make any sense to me, and which is frustrating to a lot of actual arcade machine owners, because they feel like Arcade One Up had potential to become a huge company to recreate these arcade experiences, and yet they just either they lost money or they lost the licenses or pretty much lost the respect because of the prices of the cabinets. Even the Ki arcade cabinet didn't really do too well. It actually failed before it got started. But that's another story all on its own. Retro games, have such a influence in games today, which is the reason why these games are being resurrected. And I think they're gauging all these players out there that are playing these games, and Steam has a lot of freaking retro games. Oh my gosh, they got a lot of retro games, and a lot of these retro games are being played to this day. To this day, we're not talking about 20 or 30 people. We're talking about hundreds or even thousands of players are playing these games, and either A, because of nostalgia, because they actually played it before, or they just heard about it. Because these games are starting to come back into light. And I feel like what better time than to go into the coffers and bring these games back. I'm so glad that Retro Classics is back because all these Activision games I played when I was younger. Come on, man. You have what's it, Enduro. I played that with my sister, and sisters, and we used to play that game and everything. Remember that movie Daryl?
Which movie?
Daryl. It's called Daryl. It was based. It was
I think I do remember that.
Yeah, it was a story about a boy who actually got a chip implanted into his brain, and supposedly he was some kind of military experiment that they actually were trying to hide from the military government because he was a child, and they didn't want to exploit him to that. So what he did, they actually had him escape, had him adopted by a family to just be a normal boy, and then when the military found out where he lived, they snatched him up. It's a great story. But there was one part in the movie. Yeah, there was one part in the movie where he sat down and he was playing a racing game. I think it might have been like pole position or something like that. I guess it was. But when he was playing the game, he was playing it in such a way and everything, like literally he was going at high speed throughout the whole entire thing. And he was, and he was just going like, just dodging all the stuff, didn't crash, doing that stuff like that, and got the high score. And both the brother and the sister and everything was like, what the heck, kind of thing. So we were playing Enduro, and Enduro kind of the same thing. Like we actually had, and there was a challenge, believe it or not, on the retro classics that your foot is on the gas, and you have to go as fast as you possibly can without crashing, and for a certain amount of period. Yeah, yeah. So it's a certain time period. I didn't do too well. I mean, well, actually, pole position. It was pole position, right? Yes, yes. And he was going full speed throughout the whole entire thing, and and people were like they were looking in awe. They were like kind of thing. So, uh, memories, man, nostalgia. Oh my gosh. And Pac-Man had his 45th anniversary. And of course, I got the donuts. Had to get the donuts from Krispy Kreme. Hey, listen. Oh, they're so good. Oh, yes, yes. Oh, so good. So good. Dude. Yeah, because it's limited time too. Yeah. But they're celebrating the 45th anniversary, I think, all month because Pac-Man is such a big influence in the gaming industry. Everybody knows who Pac-Man is. When you come out of your mother's womb, you know what Pac-Man is. Everyone knows who Pac-Man is. Everyone knows who Mario is. Everyone knows who Sonic is. You know, the it's such a big influence in gaming today, which is the reason why I keep on shouting from the mountaintops and say, hey, nostalgic games, bring them back. And bring these retro games back in some fashion and bring them to modern consoles. Because these games, I don't want them to be lost. And which is kind of frustrating too, because all these licenses are gone. Like for instance, WB owns all the Midway licenses. Like Narc. Remember Narc? Narc. What else? Robotron 2084. Smash TV. Pit Fighter. Yeah, they own Pit Fighter. They own Spy Hunter. Gauntlet. Gauntlet 2. Dude, I can go on and on, man. Gauntlet Legends. Will we ever see a remake or remaster of Gauntlet Legends? What about that? What about Gauntlet Dark Legacy? Yes, Dark Legacy. Yes. I mean, what about those games? And I can go, man. We can go on and on and on. There's a whole entire laundry list of games, and I'm glad that a lot of these developers, the indie developers, are embracing these games and bringing a sort of a love letter to all these games in some shape or form. And they say, oh.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt. I just want to add one more thing. When you mentioned about WB Games owning all the Midway games, remember we talked about like Mortal Kombat 1 is officially like done.
Yeah.
What I think that WB should do, and this will bring some money, and I want to hear from you, Tony, and you, Karn, if you agree with me. I'd like to hear from the chat as well. I think what they should do for the next for their Mortal Kombat series, is do a Mortal Kombat arcade collection. Add the first Mortal Kombat game, add the second Mortal Kombat game, add Mortal Kombat 3, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, both versions of Mortal Kombat Trilogy on the PlayStation 1 and the N64, okay? And add that into a collection and have the online play, add all the art, all the art, and all the gallery art, the development of all the drawings he's done for the characters, especially like the characters that they were planning on like putting into the original game, but then they save it for the next game. Like all the development drawings and sketches, okay? and then of course I mentioned online play for all those games.
Mm.
I think that people will enjoy that, and then when that does well, go into like the next selection. Add Mortal Kombat 4, Mortal Kombat Gold, Deadly Alliance, Deception, Armageddon, Shaolin Monk, and you can put in Mythology Sub-Zero and Special Forces. And I guarantee you, a lot of people will buy that. That's what people are asking for. So, what do you
That's a
say?
quick cash grab.
That right there is a fantastic idea, and this is something that I think I've been touting for a long, long time because these IPs are in the palm of these developers' hands, and they just let them sit dormant. Whether it be because of licensed music, or it might be because of certain actor or certain contracts, I don't know. But it's frustrating that they're not willing to spend the money. Just spend the money. Just you're gonna get the money residually anyway. Just just spend the money, get the IP, just for whatever the time frame might be. You get enough people to actually buy it, and it would actually pay for itself. And and of course, there's a lot of streaming services that are willing to, willing to, offer the games also, so the games will last forever. Like everyone got upset when Crazy Taxi decided to get a remaster, right? Or a remake, or not remake, or not even a re-release, and it came out for the Xbox 360, right?
Right,
Yeah. Now, here's the problem. Soundtrack. There was no Offspring. And then it came out for the PC. Once again, no Offspring soundtrack. Now get this. For the mobile game. You know what's funny? They actually had the Offspring soundtrack in the mobile game.
Wow.
In the mobile game. I said, come on, man. That was disingenuous. I was like, okay, so what? You're gonna make more money off the mobile game, so you decide to throw Offspring back into a mobile game that basically people are not really engaged in? I don't even think it did that well for mobile. I don't think you can even get it for mobile anymore. I don't. I think. I might have to look that one up.
On the game, they put Crazy Taxi on the Game Boy Advance, and it was bad.
There was. That's right. There was no. I think it was not even a good soundtrack at all, was it? It was, you like barely nothing, right? It was horrible. No. It was like a.
Take a look at it when you get a chance. So you'll be like, what? How did they manage to do it?
But
I just wanted to add that about what you said about WB Games when they all did all the Midway properties, and it's just frustrating that they're not doing a Mortal Kombat collection. Meanwhile, Capcom is doing that with their fighting games.
Yeah.
That's what I want to add to it and see what you guys think about. But you said this will definitely be a cash grab for them on a match.
Yeah, it's a quick cash grab might generate interest for a new game if people start replaying the old one.
Well, here's the thing. We got modern technology. We got the online, capabilities. You have the achievements. You have, you can actually throw a couple of enhancements. You can throw in like storyboard backgrounds. You can be able to, a lot of things. A lot of things you can add to it. And I have a feeling that a lot of Mortal Kombat fans, or better yet, even new Mortal Kombat fans, will appreciate the heck out of it. Who wouldn't want to know about backstories, about soundtracks, about the actors, about and they can even throw in as a bonus, they will love this, the story about Midway and the creation of digitized humans in gaming. That's a big thing. I mean, a lot of people don't even know that. I mean, there was actually a documentary, I believe it or not, that came out on Press Start. It was a Press Start documentary, talking about was it Williams Bally, and Midway. Yeah, yeah, you saw it. You saw it. It's on there. You can see it on YouTube too. And it talks about how digital gaming, digitized humans actually pushed the boundaries, and Mortal Kombat was born. Now, Mortal Kombat would never come to be if digitized humans didn't was not even allowed. They actually they actually weren't going to allow Narc to be made, believe it or not. But they said, yeah. So these are things. I mean, a Pit Fighter, yeah, another one. So I mean, I'm pretty sure we know, but a lot of the players out there probably don't, which is actually true because um, they're like, oh wow, Mortal Kombat was a thing, then and they didn't realize, okay, well, Smash TV, another game, it wasn't really digitized, but violent gaming was a thing.
Loads of fun.
Lots of fun, big money, big prizes. I love it. I buy that for $1. Total carnage. So yes.
So go back. What other games you were gonna mention?
Yes. Let's go back into let's see. I have that. I have Ninja. We have oh yes. Oh, twin stick shooters. Twin stick shooters has actually started to become a thing. The and top down gaming, which is actually starting to become a big thing as well. So you got 30 what is it called 33 Immortals that came out. It's still in beta if I'm not mistaken. That's a fun game. You have 33 players. You get to play on this huge gigantic map, facing all these different gods and and demons. 33 players. That's nuts. I mean it's crazy enough to even have like four, but 33. That's insane, man. But it's yeah, but it's fun. But it's so much fun, you know. So
That's all that matters.
yeah, exactly. So anyway, like I said, some thoughts. Like, do you feel like retro gaming should be, you know, should it be like a focal point for a lot of games in between all the 3D games that are coming out now? I have a feeling that we should really talk about why retro gaming is important. So what do you think? What do you guys think?
Well, modern games can capture the kind of experience that we had to retro, especially the live experience playing co-op. It's just not the same. That's why they're still around. That's why people still love them because they keep going back to those old feelings.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, as far as that, I do think they're to this day they're still a focal point. Even with all these AAA, 3D, first-person shooters or open world sandboxes, people still go back and pick these games up and play them, and still talk about how love. And new people are starting to play those games every day too.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think it already is a focal point, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, no, I agree with Tony 100% on that. And plus, I'm gonna list of a couple of games though that they brought back. Like they brought back Joe and Mac, the HD, and they brought back Toki. You guys remember Toki?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Toki Go Ape Spit. Yes. Yes.
Going Spit that was on the Genesis, and they just came out with the HD though. That game was like fantastic, and that's why I recommend it. And then it was Night Slasher, that horror beat 'em up game. They brought that back.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bring back Bonk. Bring back Bonk.
Oh, I would love to see Bond come back. And then
Bonk come back.
Bonds also mentioned Sonic Mania, but there was another Sonic game called Sonic Superstars, which is like it's a 2.5D though, and I think I know a lot of people were not like too big in the game, but I love the
Oh, Sonic Superstar. Yes. What 2.5D, where you actually can have more like for 4 players at the same time on the screen.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get to run that one yet.
Yeah, you can play as Amy, Knuckles, Sonic, and Tails.
Knuckles, Tails, and Sonic. Yeah, those are the characters you play.
And all of them have their different play. Yeah, good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, they all have their different play styles. So I highly recommend that game too as well, especially if you're a Sonic fan.
And then Super Mario 2, they all have the different play styles. You got 4 players. They caught that same lightning in a bottle, and that's fun games one game too.
Oh, good catch there.
Yeah, nice.
And then also
Inspired by retro.
Oh yes.
Exactly. And then speaking of beat 'em up, so you mentioned about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right?
Yes.
Because they're bringing like, all these Saturday morning cartoons though, like G.I. Joe, Wrath of Cobra. That was a beat 'em up game that came out. Now you got Toxic Crusaders is coming out later on.
That's right. Toxic. I forgot all about Toxic Crusaders. Yes. There's another one.
Yeah. Exactly. That's another one that's going to be coming out. And also, here's one of my favorites: Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection.
Ghosts and Goblins. Hard as balls.
If you guys haven't played that, I highly recommend it. Challenging, but it's fun though. And I was so proud of myself when I got all these tunes for that game. So, but it was a pain in the ass, but it was a pain in the ass game, but dude, it was worth it.
Yeah, you're better than I. You're better than me, man. You know, with that because that game. I mean,
sometimes I have patience, but there's times where I will sometimes like, okay, I can't believe I missed that jump or I missed that double jump. Why did I do that?
Oh, you get so angry just like when you were 10 again. It's hilarious.
Yeah, good time. I mean, it's like almost like an angry thing, but a good feeling though.
exactly.
It's not like you want to like beat your head on the wall. It doesn't come to that. So, but other than that though, if you guys remember, we talked about like Ninja Gaiden, Race Bound coming out, Shinobi Art of Vengeance is coming out. Now here's the thing, Capcom back in 2014 came out with Strider. So I don't know if you remember playing the Strider reboot game that came out. It was like a Metrovania. Any of you guys play that one?
Wait, what was it called again?
Strider.
Oh, yes, that's right. I remember Strider. I finished that whole entire game. I love that. I love the way they did it because it felt like Strider 2. If you played the arcade version of Strider 2,
I have it. It is amazing.
yes, it's basically along the same style as basically it's basically Strider. That's the Strider remake. I can't consider it a remake. Oh yeah, it is a remake. It actually, consider it a remake. It's the same style as Strider 2, even though it's not a linear type of game. You can actually backtrack in there, but but the styles, and you can actually level up your character. You get new techniques and stuff like that, and you just like secret areas you can actually unlock in the game too. So it's kind of like a love letter to Strider for the NES. You ever play the NES version of Strider?
I remember that.
Yes. Right. It's more like a little mixture of both. So it has like that arcade style of Strider, of Strider 2, but it also has the nostalgia of Strider for the NES. So you have the adventure part, you're unlocking doors, getting keys, unlocking bosses, fighting bosses. And weapons. Yes. Oh, so good. I actually played that game from beginning to end. I couldn't stop. It was so good.
Yeah.
I love Strider.
I highly recommend people to check that game out. But,
yeah, dude.
However, I know Capcom is watching. Okay. When they see Strider and Design, you would think that hopefully maybe Capcom will bring a new Strider game. You know. And then also another thing I want to mention. We see Streets of Rage 4, we see Double Dragon 4, we see all these great beat-em-up games coming out. Why the hell has Capcom not bring us a new Final Fight game?
Oh, I know you're very passionate about. I know you're very passionate about Final Fight because you love the Final Fight Streetwise.
Streetwise wasn't that great. My favorite was Final Fight 3 on the SNES.
Oh well, yeah, Final Fight 3, Fighter Strike. I remember that. Yes, so Final Fight 3 was.
Wasn't that great.
Yeah, well,
Capcom. I got one for you.
what's that?
It's retro. It's been remade, and the remake was just as awesome as the original. Bionic Commando. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yes,
I'm
yes.
talking about Rearmed.
Oh yes, Rearm 2, and Rearm 2, and Rearm 2 that came out too. Yes.
Oh my God, they were so good.
Yes, I actually loved it. I love that take on those games, and I appreciate the heck out of them. Believe it or not.
Yeah, I love Bionic Commando.
Yeah. But, well, I mean, the 3D version. I mean, I liked that. I kind of liked it, but you know.
The problem I stuck with the originals.
Yeah.
I love the originals.
2D. Stick with 2D.
2D all the way with those games.
Dude, yeah, 2D all the way.
The problem with the 3D Bionic Commando was the fact that the checkpoints sucked. The checkpoints were horrible in that game.
Ooh,
it's like if you die at one certain point, you have to go all the way back to like at that certain level. It was such a pain in the ass.
I think that's on purpose.
Yeah, it is.
They want to up the difficulty so you keep playing. Now, I think that's on purpose. It's going purposely.
That's true.
Arcade machines are coded so that you keep shoveling quarters in there.
Well,
right. In games like Combat Tribes, and I've always mentioned that a couple times.
Yes, Combat Tribes. Come on now, love that game.
How easy is it to get beat up and lose all your energy if you're not constantly shoving quarters into that thing?
Oh, here's a fun fact. Here's a fun fact of Combat Tribes and everything, and I actually kind of experimented with it. You know that the life is actually a ticker too. That means if you stay still, your life still goes down. You don't even have to get hit.
It's designed to shove money into the machine.
It is.
That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
You were doing at the time.
Unbelievable.
Come on now.
So damn cheap. So damn cheap.
Yeah.
And
then also there's two other games I like to mention those, and then also you have coming up. You have the Marvel Cosmic Invasions is coming out. That's going to be great.
Oh yes, Toxic Invasion. You're right. Yeah, the side scroller. You know, but you can it's in lieu of the X-Men game, X-Men arcade game. Yeah. But it's made by Dotemu also. You know, so go ahead.
Yeah, that, and then you also got a game that's inspired by Castlevania. It's called Chronicles of the Wall. And if you go look at that trailer, and that game's going to remind you so much of Castlevania. And here's a fun fact: the voice actor Robert Belgrade, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, who was the voice of Alucard in Symphony of the Night, he's going to be voicing the narrator next.
That's right. Yeah. That's wild, man.
Yeah, that's going to be coming out next month, so I highly recommend everybody go check that out if you're a fan of Castlevania. So I'll be checking that out myself.
All right, so players out there, you know, I mean, please hit that like and subscribe button. You know, please, you know, share it out to the folks out there, please. And also tell me your thoughts. What do you think? What drives your nostalgia when it comes to 2D games? Like of all these games that are coming out recently, or the games that are coming out soon, what games are you looking forward to, and what games are you playing right now that actually is driving that nostalgia and making you say, hey, you know what? We can use a sequel for this game. You know, go ahead and pop that in there. What do you got?
Want to know? Please share.
Yeah, share it, please. So anyway,
in our comments too.
Of course, please. You know, listen, we're all about feedback here. So let's go to our final commercial break, and we are going to hit our last topic.
Rio, you're not working out because the King of Fighters is going 3D with maximum impact, are you?
King of Fighters going 3D? I don't know what you're talking about. King of Fighters Maximum Impact. An all-new creation combines classic King of Fighters 2D gameplay with breathtaking 3D animation. 14 classic fighters, 5 new warriors.
It's all right, just a little paper cut.
King of Fighters Maximum Impact. Hail to the King. Rated T for...
My name is Ryo Hazuki. My father was killed by the warlord Lan Di. During my quest for vengeance, I've traveled far and wide, and consorted with numerous unsavory characters. But enough about me. Let's talk about you, Nozomi.
Brian? Brian? Brian! Who's Nozomi?
Shenmue on Dreamcast, rated T for teen.
Shut up!
All right, folks, and we are back. We are hitting our last final topic, and this is going to be a big doozy. And it's something that's I'm kind of passionate about because, in the world that we're living in today, a lot of folks are starting to become more isolated. They're not really wanting to, be around each other. They're not really, the social experience is kind of gone. So my final topic is the social experience versus online gaming, and is it going to be a danger to social gatherings and getting together in gaming? Um, Now, we actually mentioned earlier about going to the arcade, hanging out with each other, going to the pizzeria, or going to Nathan's or whatever and everything, getting a meal, then going into the arcade, getting together, popping in quarters. Better yet, even better, playing fighting games. I got next, popping a quarter right there on the cabinet, and because you said and you have a whole line of quarters of people who are actually going to be next playing in a one-on-one fighting game.
Oh yeah.
It would go across
Yeah.
the entire bottom.
Exactly.
Yeah. These experiences. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say it got crazy that they actually had to put like coin slots on the machines there because it got so crazy. They started putting the coin slots, so you just enter and put your coin right in there.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Certain places actually had that, especially places who actually have high competitive gameplay. But it's and now because back in the day when NES, the Super NES, Sega Genesis, they had no online features. There's no online features. I mean, I think there was the what's it called, the X band. Yes, X band. Holy cow! That little thing, the little doodad, which you actually had to use a landline for, and and it doesn't really work out. And when there's a phone call that usually happens, you get cut off completely. Yeah, those kind of experiences. Um, Once online gaming became big, I mean, that Xbox, they actually were the pioneers of actually making it more mainstream. They weren't even really pioneers. They perfected it. Because they were, instead of doing a landline, they actually decided to do Ethernet cables. Ethernet cables weren't even a thing that much. It was actually more like not a lot of computers were even using Ethernet cables at that time. Xbox, with the Xbox Live, Ethernet was like necessary, for the smooth experience. And Halo 2 was the catalyst to make this thing a reality. And people loved it. I loved it. And the online experience was cool. It was a thing. It was awesome.
That was bonding time with my sister. We beat Halo 2 together.
No, but see, look at that. I mean, college students. Even people who actually go away to college, they want to spend some time with their brothers and sisters, or their friends they haven't seen for a long time. They had right. There's a big plus to it. And because they remember those times with the LAN parties, and Halo 1, they actually had all the monitors and the consoles connected together, and and they all got to play with 8 monitors at the same time, so it was like 4-on-4. And come on, man.
Also, I like to add the Dreamcast.
And the Dreamcast. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Fantasy Star Online.
Yes, holy cow! Right, and of course the sports games too. NFL, the NFL 2K games, right? It was awesome. It was fantastic. Here's the only problem. Now it's starting to become online is starting to become so much a thing. Like the pandemic that happened recently. Actually had people almost stuck to the online experience. I mean, granted, it might work out for a lot of companies, and they get a lot of money for for getting the online experience, like online gaming, and it really gave it that boost. But now the social experience is kind of going away. I mean, you can see it in malls. Malls are starting to empty out. You're gonna see a lot. You see a lot of stores just closing down. No one buys things in person anymore. The midnight openings to certain kinds. I mean, I noticed that GameStop recently actually started bringing that back. You can be for the Switch too. And that was cool. I thought that was so awesome. They are so determined to bring that back. And because if you think about it, the experience of being with people has a certain power that a lot of these companies just don't understand. But they are so bent on keeping everyone apart, and they concentrate so much on the thing. Yeah, granted, I like online gaming. Don't get me wrong, I do. But the thing is also is that these are faces that you don't see. These are voices, but these are faces that you don't see, or probably will never see, or probably never even, visit, whatever. I mean, There's been some great stories. Like people actually getting married, or met each other on like Halo 2. Halo 2 actually, they actually had, there was one couple that actually played online, and they actually created a relationship, and they met each other, and they got married. Um, and let's talk about E3, which is actually another big thing. E3 is gone, and the pandemic actually pretty much was the catalyst to pretty much shut down the social experience. These are, a lot of companies don't want to spend the money anymore for these big events, which is also kind of sad. Physical games going away. Now you have these companies like Limited Games, which Johnny hates wholeheartedly. He's very vocal about that.
One of the things I just want to make it completely clear. Limited run games, what I don't like is that I don't like the fact that you'll be waiting like a year or two just to get your physical copy of a game.
Okay.
That is one of my biggest issues with limited run games, and plus the fact that I've been hearing about the hardware they've been doing for like the Game Boy Advance games. I think I showed you some articles about.
Yeah. That was a travesty all on its own. That's another subject all on its own. About certain because companies cutting corners and stuff like that. But I feel like online gaming lately has been, almost there's two sides to this. There's two sides. I had to put this point out. Okay, the one side is it's great because it brings the games to a lot of players faster. Like you have the opportunity. It's more accessible. Not a lot of players can be able to go out in time to purchase that new game, or better yet, just sitting online or worried that the game actually sells out. You can actually buy it through Steam, via Xbox Live or PlayStation Store or whatever. But just the fact that you can't physically be there and actually experience that, to purchase a game with friends or family, because I mean, hey, Johnny and I, we used to work at GameStop. We actually know what it's like. We know about all these midnight openings and all these things. And everybody worked there. Sorry, strike that. All three of us. We've been through the GameStop runs.
I was a manager.
So yes, I was a manager as well. Oh, we're in good company. Oh, cool.
Yeah, we probably worked there at the same time in different regions.
Yeah, different regions, exactly.
We're finding out just now about each other that we all work
there.
Oh.
For like 20 years, man.
Yeah, man. Holy cow.
I mentioned that I worked at GameStop. You never mentioned to me that.
No, you never talked about it.
Oh, here we go. The can of worms is open now. Oh my goodness. We're getting it all. Listen. Just to see the faces of young players getting their new game, discussing the new game, going to the store when a new game you hear about. Oh, I heard such and such. Is this game coming out? Is this game coming out for this console? And also the disappointments. Console wars were a little bit simpler back then. It wasn't that crazy like it is with the online social media nonsense. It was more like friendly banter, about which console was better, whatever it was. All that fun stuff. It's more genuine when you're with people, and having fun with people, sharing the experience with people, getting to see disappointments with people instead of actually either hearing about it, or they're writing their own blog or their own blurb on X or on Facebook or on Instagram, and it's not the same. So I want to open the floor to you guys. What do you feel like do you feel like it's missing in when it comes to the online gaming versus the social experience?
Do I think it's missing? To be honest, no. Here's the thing. Online gaming has helped me keep in touch with old friends like Johnny over here and cousins overseas. I'm still able to play with them, even though I haven't seen them in years or whatever.
Okay.
On top of that, I actually have an optimistic look towards online gaming because of that.
Oh.
But it does not beat the old arcade experience and the couch co-op. I used to love going to the arcades. You guys mentioned the whole quarters of the fighting game machine thing too. Me and my friends, what's the statute of limitations? I think I shouldn't bring this up. But we used to bet each other on Street Fighter.
Okay.
That's as far as I'm gonna go. Yeah.
Oh my.
Okay. Nothing like what you're thinking, but
buying each other a drink, or what's the what's the stipulation? Rated PG or rated no? What's okay, all right. Okay.
I'll just leave it at that.
You'll leave it at that. Okay.
No, that's the God's honest truth, man. There's no gambling with or you're not doing that.
All right, cool.
On that level, when it comes to retro stuff, I noticed, at least in my area, there's arcades opening up again. There's at least 3 within a 30-mile radius of me now. So that's a trend I'm seeing, at least out here in this area, which is really good. So these times might be coming back again, or kept alive through people like our age and showing their kids. You've also got places like the barcades. Those are almost like old school arcades, much better than say Dave and Buster's. Even though I did have my own, I had a lot of good times at Dave and Buster's too. But I'm very optimistic with the gaming, especially with indies coming up, arcades coming back. I think it's going to be a healthy mix of online and people playing together again.
Johnny, what do you think?
Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, I appreciate the online. You get to play with people around the world, keep in touch with your friends. But to me, if anybody would tell me, like, if I had to choose between, like, online or, like, the offline, I would obviously go with the offline because because here's the thing. Nothing beats, like, going to the arcade and just meeting somebody. Just meeting them in person. And then you never know. You might meet up with your future wife at an arcade because then now you enjoy the same thing. You have the same hobby. She likes to play arcade games. You like to play arcade games.
I mean,
you never know.
My friends from the arcade.
Exactly.
Lifelong friends to this day.
Right.
At the arcade.
Right. Exactly. And we don't just have to just go to the arcade you could probably find out, this person, he likes to watch Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. And then, we could do other activities together. That's why I met this one guy. He said he's big into all these martial arts films like I am. And then we hung out and we watched these movies. And I remember back over in Nathan's, like Barnes mentioned, they had that Fist of North Star Punch Mania game.
Oh, yes.
And you will not forget.
Yes.
Oh, man, you have to play that.
But I love that boxing game too.
Yeah, and I want to tell you a good story about that. I actually met a couple of boxers over there that liked to play that game because they said that game's a good workout.
Yeah.
And I met other martial. Yeah, and I met a few martial artists like me that likes to do that. So I was like, wow. So you to meet these people have the same similarities and the same hobbies as you do. And with online, you can't really do that. You just play the game. Sure, you'll have good conversations and talk and grind or whatever, but it's just, to me, it's better to just meet them right in person. It's like, it's a great experience because you're out there, you got your food there, and you're outside. As far as those over at Nathan's, after around 11 o'clock at night on Saturday night, they got people with their lowriders and their cars and their motorcycles. You remember going to that new spot?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But Torrance knows that about.
Of course. Listen, like for instance,
I was just gonna finish up. So yeah, but to me, listen, I appreciate the online. I really do. But to me, it's like social offline. online, especially like in tournaments though, because if you go to tournaments and you play against people, there's no excuse saying, oh, there was lag there, or whatever it is though. There was like they don't have any BS excuses. That's my take on it.
I feel like when it comes to the arcade experience, the experience that you physically there feels so much better. I like don't get me wrong, I love online gaming, and I do. But it feels almost soulless. It's almost like a whole bunch of nobodies with a voice.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Right. Trolls.
Right. You don't know their real names. They have their little persona. You're probably some guy in the basement and everything, scratching their chest and everything, eating their bag of Cheetos and everything over their white beaters. It could be anything. But they probably do or do not have a life and everything. They probably don't even touch grass. But here's the thing. When it comes to seeing people, asking each other, and seeing them live, hanging out afterwards. Like you go online yeah, you might know some people locally, like your own personal group, but the other people that you don't know, a lot of people that don't have faces behind their persona, their gamer tags or whatever. You don't get that. Yeah, you can't say, hey, okay, let's get offline and thing and go get a pizza.
Yeah,
that's
what I love about arcade back in the day.
Right.
Johnny mentioned meeting people with similar interests, man. I got really lucky because when I grew up, there was an arcade, and the movie theater was right across the hallway in Norton. And it was just next door was a pizza place. So guess where I was every weekend with the pizza.
Oh, yes.
Playing games. It wasn't just fun games. It was the whole experience, man. Hanging out with your friends.
Absolutely.
Going to a movie, getting to meet, playing arcade, and getting whatever trouble after every movie.
I remember going to Nathan's, all night until it actually did close. It was closed like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that, if I remember correctly. 1 or 2 in the morning. Playing those games all night long, all the games, and finding out the newest games. There are games that never came home, that you just don't get the same experience. There's racing games, the Daytona USA, the eight player shooting games, right? Virtual Cop came home, but it's not the same as the arcade, version. House of the Dead.
There was a couple House of the Dead games that never made it to the home version, like the one Tony and I played. What's it called?
What do we have?
1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3. Right. And Overkill
as well.
Yeah, and of course they are bringing back some newer titles that are only available in the arcade. I think it was called Raw Thrills is the company. They're making a whole lot of movie licensed games that are only available at Dave & Buster's. It's more like ticket type of games, really, where you actually earn credits and what have you in the game. Except for Minecraft. Minecraft, you don't really earn tickets or anything like that, I don't think. But which is kind of odd. But you can see where I'm getting at. Like Tomb Raider, they made an arcade version of Tomb Raider, which was a shooting game. Rambo was another one.
I think we saw that over there.
Yeah.
That's what I said, Dave and Buster's.
Yeah. And Halo, they made an arcade version of a Halo shooter. I mean, the list. Mario Kart, yes. Yeah, that's another one. Mario Kart GP, only available in the arcade, and it had Pac-Man in it. Pac-Man was actually in that game.
Right, yeah. Because
Namco, yeah. And it was never available at home. So it was the arcade experience that never came home. See, this is what I'm talking about. all these experiences are unique experiences that you will never experience at home. Either A, the devs never try, or the publishers never try, or they feel like, oh, that's the arcade experience, and we'll get our money there, and people who are actually at home, we have stuff for them. I feel like this is a disservice to a lot of players out there to not bring the experience home, or better yet, add something that the arcade didn't have. So you have the arcade experience, but you actually also have a new experience at home. Contra, that came out for the NES, different from the arcade. More stages, different story, different type of game. Still Contra. Yes. Right. Like the same thing with Super C, which is actually Super Contra. And then turned Contra 3. Never came out to the arcade, but it only came home. You see what I'm getting at? A lot of these games didn't really get that experience, until we brought it home, which is the reason why that people are like, well, online gaming, actually makes it more broad to a lot of players, and I get it, but but the human element is what I'm talking about here. I feel like it feels more human, to actually have these gatherings happen. So, which comes to my next point. The big events that people used to go to. The big events, the ones that people actually go to, like E3, which is gone. And the companies just don't want to do it anymore. But why? Is it because I understand they don't want to spend any money, but I feel like the return on investment will be better when you actually have people there at you. And say, hey, we like this experience. We don't like this experience. You can actually make the adjustments. The game's not even out yet. You have time to develop these games. Why not get the social feedback instead of waiting for online and having people type away? And most of these people are not even genuine. You don't even know who half of these people are trolls. Which is also another frustrating thing. Which is the reason why a lot of companies change for the wrong reasons.
Another frustrating thing I noticed with online gamers is a lot of them are just grinding the level of characters to sell them off. A lot of those. That's true. Yeah. RPGs. They kind of kill the experience because they're not really playing. They're just grinding.
Right.
And not only that, there's a lot of cheatware that they're actually using. And I noticed that some companies are starting to fight back with that. They actually have the anti-cheat software that they're using, or they actually having some live people actually noticing the anti-cheat detection software. I think Call of Duty actually has that now, and a few other games. There are a lot of high scores that don't make any sense. That are popping up in certain games. Like I love nostalgic games. I love games like Bejeweled. I play that. I with no shame in my heart at all. I love Bejeweled. But yes. I mean,
what the hell? Yeah, he drove through the wall. Come on.
Yeah, so this is what I mean. The online experience. That people have this software that built in the game and these mods that some of the games don't detect, and you see these scores and you're like, whoa, -1. There was a timer. There's a timer in a game, right? And it has a high score, and I looked at it and it said -1 in the timer. -1 or something like that. And I said, wait a minute. And then I saw the score. The score was absolutely ridiculous. And I said, there is no way at all in hell that they actually get a score like that high. It's impossible. So, and they haven't fixed it yet. You know, I mean, they haven't done no resets, no nothing. I think a couple of companies like for instance like Team Ninja, they actually did it recently with the Dead or Alive 4. They actually have it on. It's online still. You can still be able to play a game online, which is kind of cool, which is very cool. And there's people who actually have a double S ranking or something like that, and they haven't played that many matches. And they have S ranking. And I'm like, yeah, so I know they were lying. I know it was fake. I feel like it's so disingenuous when it comes to online gaming. You know, keep it honest. And that's what's frustrating me because games won't be fun anymore, and a lot of people are actually disengaging. Yeah, a lot of people are disengaging because of it.
Absolutely.
And you're right. You're absolutely right about that. So, I mean, it throws people to this point where they just don't want to engage anymore when it comes to online gaming. A lot of people get turned off because of it. Yeah. You know, and
it's not as fun.
You're right about that. See, that's what I'm talking about. The fun. The fun gets sapped because of it. Now, I remember, when I play certain games, I like to enjoy a game because I enjoy it. I don't want to enjoy a game because someone else enjoys it. You know, and when you go online, people are like, "Oh, you gotta play this game because it's online." Okay, great. That's great on paper. I applaud it. I love it. Great. But here's the thing. I've been playing more single player, like one player games a lot. I mean, I love multiplayer, and I do. But it kind of turned me off because I'm seeing some players, they don't play to have fun. They just play because either they're competitive or they get mad because their stats or whatever. I'm like,
yeah,
really? This is what it's all about? Getting stats, building up your character, blah blah blah. Okay, I get it. It's fun. It's fantastic to you. You know, but the thing is that you're not going to get a reward at the end. I thought it was just for fun. You know, yeah, it's fun to level up your characters. And yeah, and I like the fact you be able to share your character stats and whatever. But here's the thing: it gets out of hand to that point where where you feel like you're kind of disengaged. You're not there. You're not enjoying it anymore. It happened. What's that?
Started. Take a look at whenever you log in like your Xbox or your PlayStation or anything like that. There's a social media feed now. So that aspect of the game has been kind of cheapened a little bit, taking away the fun out of it. Because now it's top chasing versus just playing and enjoying the game.
I know. I've been seeing that a lot of especially some content creators. They just do it just build up ranks and that's it. They only play the game because it's a popular game and they're not really enjoying it. Yeah. I've been seeing that a lot of
All right, so right now we're actually heading into that witching hour of our podcast. So yeah, already. Can you imagine? We actually got into that. Indeed. So I really like. So if anybody out there, who's watching this, or if you're watching it after this whole entire program is completely done, why don't you go ahead and leave some comments and let me know what you think. Tell me. 2D gaming, do you feel like it's actually a big deal? Do you feel like gaming nostalgia and everything is actually driving the industry nowadays? And also, why don't you go ahead and talk about the online experience versus social experience? Do you feel like online gaming is better for you? Do you feel like it's actually kind of driving you away from gaming? Do you feel like you want to play more with people? Go ahead, leave your comments below. So, any last thoughts for you guys before we get out of here?
All I know is during this podcast, I have learned so many new games I missed out on. So I've got some catching up to do. It's going to be a fun next few years.
All right, cool. Johnny?
Yeah, well, me, I'm just happy to share all these games, with you guys. It's going to be coming out, though, so I'm glad I was able to share all this with you, Tony, so you get to check these games out. So
You've been my go-to guy for years, man.
But yeah, hey, but you know what? It's better to know those games now than never, So that's always a blessing. But yeah, so this was fun though. I mean, I really enjoyed talking about all these retro games and the be able to share my arcade experience and versus the online, the return of 2D, which I'm happy to see. I think this was really fun discussing all this.
Cool.
With you guys.
All right, so we're gonna hit the last intermission, and then we're gonna do our outro, and then we're out of here. All right, let's give it a rest. Let's go for it.
Game over?
No way!
Because we got Game Genie!
We tell you when it's over.
With Game Genie, I decide how many lives I get.
I use it when I want to live forever.
Play to the end and win. Maybe I want to start on level 15.
No problemo!
It makes cool games like Street Fighter 2 more exciting.
Less frustrating!
With Game Genie, it ain't over.
So we say it's over. Excellent!
Game Genie for NES, Super NES, Sega Genesis, and Game Boy. Codes from many popular games, each sold separately.
Danita Stokes, president of HAG.
It's bad enough that Sega Genesis has the most 16-bit games, but this new Sonic the Hedgehog, oh, he really doth my doilies. They say he's incredibly fast. Well, what's the hurry, mister? And about his attitude. Smarty pants. Why can't it be more like that nice boy Mario? Oh! Little brat!
Now, get Sonic free when you buy a Sega Genesis system at its new price of $149.99.
All right, so that's it, folks. This is the end of our little podcast. We had a great time. Great, some amazing topics. Of course, we have another one that's coming up on Friday around the same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You come on in and join in with the chat. Bring some friends. Go online. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're trying to hit 100 subscribers. We're close. We are 71. 71. We are hitting that big hundo. Trying to get that 100. If you can get that 100, I think you might do something special. Nothing. You never know. Maybe even like a small little giveaway. We don't know. We're trying to figure it out. But but please, we enjoy your company. So, saying that, I want to give a shout out once again to all of our veterans out there. Who served our country, who actually bleeds red, white, and blue. I appreciate you. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to have these awesome games and get all these awesome gatherings, and of course those burgers and hot dogs that you burn on the grill. every single year, but of course, it's keeping our country safe. That's what's that's the most important thing. So, I am Torrance Hudson.
I'm Tony San Miguel.
I'm Johnny Eliseo.
And I want to say good night, keep on gaming, stay awesome, and keep on leveling up.
Don't stop playing.
Yes, and remember,